Hey friends, welcome back to the 𝐚𝐭 Homestead. I'm 𝐚𝐭, and today I wanted to talk to you about how expensive it really is to keep chickens. The egg prices have skyrocketed, and I've been seeing people say, well, even though the egg prices have skyrocketed, eggs at the store are still cheaper than keeping chickens. Is that really true? So we will go through all the things you need, my price breakdown for keeping chickens, and I think you will be surprised at what we discover. So let's dive in. A lot of people stress about the cost of building a coop, and I completely understand the feat of building a coop from raw materials would add up quickly. Also, just getting a coop from a farm store, those are also expensive. But let me break it down because it does not have to be expensive. So right here, I have nesting boxes. Nesting boxes are where they will lay eggs. But let me tell you something. They are not always going to lay eggs in here. Chickens are going to lay eggs literally wherever they want. I have them laying eggs on the goat side. I have a whole pile over there. Sometimes they will lay outside. So really, nesting boxes, it's hit or miss. When it comes to the expensive nesting boxes, I have these nesting pads, which are about $20 a box, and they last me, I'd say 4 months before I have to replace them. So that's a cost $20 every few months. And I have some chickens who just lay outside. So really, you don't need fancy nesting boxes, even with the nesting pads. You don't even have to buy nesting pads. You could put straw in there. You could put grass in there, grass clippings. So you can see it doesn't have to be a huge expense. With the chicken coop, for a roost, you could even just use a ladder. You could put together some sticks in the corner of whatever building you have. You do need some sort of shelter, but it does not have to be this fancy, elaborate thing. If you are building a large coop from raw materials, yes, that can get spendy. If you are purchasing a coop from a farm store, that can also be spendy. But seriously, you just need the absolute basics. In my opinion, that's just shelter and maybe some roost for them to hop up onto so they're happy and they don't get so messy at night when they are going to the bathroom. They have a place for droppings. But the next part is where you're going to find the bulk of your expenses with chickens, so let's talk about it. Right behind me is my chicken feeder. Oh, that was perfect timing. So I have 10 chickens and I get a 25-pound bag of organic, non-GMO, non-soy chicken feed for $20. Right now, this lasts me about a week. How long your food, your chicken feed is going to last you is going to depend on how many chickens you have and the time of the year. Because when it's summer and spring, they're outside foraging, they're getting bugs, they're not eating this as much. But when it's winter, this is what they depend on. But if you live in an area where you don't have winter, then you don't really have to worry about it as much. My chickens lay about 6 eggs a day, so that's 180 eggs a month. And that's a minimum. Some days they lay more. That's 15 dozen. So organic pasture-raised eggs right now are going for $7 a dozen. So 7 times 15, that's around $105. So keep in mind the feed that I am spending to get this many eggs is $80 a month. To get the same quality eggs, which I would question if it's the same quality of eggs, at the store is gonna be around $105. So I feel like with my time included, and all the other efforts, you're pretty much like breaking even at that point, whether you're raising chickens or you are buying the quality from the store. Again, that's a minimum of 6 eggs a day for this season. During winter, they do not lay as much, so you're going to have these fluctuating costs. What people are really missing when they say, oh, it's way more expensive to keep your chickens than buy from the store, they are, one, missing out on the nutrient density of these free-range eggs. Yeah, you can get, again, the free-range, pasture-range eggs from the store, but are they being honest? 2, they're missing out on self-sufficiency. So these are not only for eggs, these are to help me be independent of the system. I can hatch their eggs, they can go broody and keep the next generation going. If they pass away, I can use them for meat, or I can harvest them for meat. They can also help connect you to community. So if you have all these eggs that are being laid, especially in the summer, you can give away eggs, or you could sell eggs and turn it into a business and start making back the expenses that it took for you to have a flock of chickens. So there is a lot that goes into keeping chickens, but it is so worth it over just buying from the store. Honestly, chickens are an incredible homestead animal. One thing I would add is when you get chickens, you will want an automatic door. store like I have here, so that is an investment. But like I said, you can have the basic minimum coop. Keep in mind predators, because that is something you will have to keep an eye on. If you have chickens that are constantly dying and you're having to replace them, that can quickly add up for the cost. But chickens are an incredible homestead animal. They teach you self-sufficiency. They're great for families because they are great for kids to go out and collect the eggs, to do the chores. They are a simple homestead animal as compared to my goats are over there. Goats are more in depth for their needs and keeping an eye on them. And I would say with goats or dairy animals, they are a lot of time and have more expenses associated with them. So it might be better to just invest in buying milk instead of keeping your own goats or your dairy animals. But like I mentioned, you can turn this into a business. You can sell the milk depending on regulations. You can sell the eggs. Also, the organic farm eggs are going for $7 a dozen in my area. So they are as expensive as the store-bought pasture-raised ones. Something that I have mentioned, but again is so important to me, is being able to know what goes into my food. I know exactly what everybody's eating, and I know exactly what everybody has for meds or lack of meds or whatever they're on, and that makes me feel more comfortable. So for example, the Tractor Supply chicks this year, I believe there was a notice that said, oh, they come from a place, meaning they've been, you know, and when you hatch your own eggs, you don't have to deal with that if you don't want to deal with that. When you have your own goat babies, you don't have to deal with that if you don't want to deal with that. And I personally don't. So I herbal deworm my goats, I herbal deworm my chickens, I give them apple cider vinegar. You just have more control. And having control over what's going into my food is so well worth it. But as you see from the cost breakdown right now, pretty much breaking even if I'm not saving by having my own chickens. So no, I don't think it's more expensive to have chickens. It definitely can be more expensive, but you get to decide what your expenses are. Yes, there are medical things that can go on with chickens. Again, you get to decide how you want to treat that, how you want to go about that. My advice is get the chickens if you can. Check your regulations, see what's allowed, what's not, and just get the chickens. You will be happy that you did. They're so minimal maintenance. Amazing investments in my opinion. I love my chickens, and they till and they give you compost and they take care of bugs. I didn't even mention those things. They do so many things. So yes, the price at the store may be whatever. You get so much more added value. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. And let me know if you get any chickens or what kind of chickens you already have. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.